Run an advertising agency, we produce thousands of ads every month for some of the biggest brands in the e-com space. And I'm gonna tell you something most agency owners would kill me for saying. You should probably not hire an ad agency. In fact, for 90% of the brands watching this video, hiring an agency is simply the wrong move. I see so many founders get burned because they treat agencies like a magic pill. They don't know what they need, they don't know what are the rules of the game, and they end up in a bad marriage that lasts 2 months and costs them a fortune. I don't want that. I don't care about pitching you my service today. I care about giving you strict criteria for when it actually makes sense to outsource and when you're better off building it yourself. To explain this, I have to confess something. I run a creative agency, I have editors, I have designers, I have strategists in-house, but recently I hired an outside YouTube agency to handle this channel. Now, why would I do that? I could have built this in-house for the same cost or maybe even cheaper. But if I did that, I would have had to face 3 different problems. First, I would have to recruit and train new team members. Second, I don't have a YouTube system yet, so I wouldn't know if they're doing a good job or if what they're doing is actually working on the platform. Third, I would be stuck in the management weeds, reviewing every single cut, which I don't want to do. I didn't hire the agency for editing, I hired them for speed. I paid for their systems and their execution, so I didn't have to build them myself. And that is exactly the same lens you need to use for your e-commerce brand. So before you even look at an agency proposal, there is a simple math test you need to pass. Most people think spending $10,000 or $30,000 a month on ads is a lot. Grand scheme of things, it's not. If you're spending $30,000 a month, paying a premium for a fully done-for-you service usually does not make financial sense. You are often better off getting consulting to help you build an in-house team or hiring a couple of experienced contractors to get the job done. So here is the rule I use for our own clients. I call it the 1-day rule. Take your monthly ad spend and divide it by 30. That is your daily spend. If the agency's monthly fee is equal to or less than your daily spend, then hiring them can make financial sense. The leverage you get on that spend is massive. One good decision moves the whole account. But if their fee is higher than what you spend in a single day, the math is usually working against you. There are only 2 different situations where I tell founders ignore the math and hire the agency anyway. Exception number 1 is aggressive scale. You have the cash, you have the margins, but you have 0 time. You need to deploy spend now, not in 3 months when you finally finish hiring an editor or a creative strategist. You are paying for immediate capacity. Exception number 2 is when you know yourself. If you know you're a terrible manager, don't build a team. You will break it. If you hate operations, if you hate one-on-ones, if you hate giving creative feedbacks, then agency fee is not just an expense, it's what you pay to avoid headaches. So that is your baseline. If you pass the 1-day rule or clearly fall into one of those 2 exceptions, then hiring an agency can make financial sense. You have cleared the minimum bar to even be interested. But just because the math works, it doesn't mean hiring an agency is automatically the best move you can make. There are a lot of brands who pass that test and still should not work with an agency because what they really need is internal capability. However, there are 5 specific scenarios where working with an agency like 99acts is not just possible, but it becomes the obvious choice. And if you recognize yourself in one or more of these, outsourcing is almost always the smartest path. Here they are. Scenario number 1, speed and discovery. You are starting a brand, launching a new offer, or entering a new channel. You don't know what angle, what hook, what format is going to work, but you want answers quickly. If you build in-house, you have a 60 to 90 day lag just to hire and train. Job posts, interviews, onboarding, tools, processes, making your first briefs, you burn months before the first serious test even goes live. With the right agency, you plug into an existing machine. In week 1, you're already running structured tests. In week 2 and 3, you're already seeing patterns. You are not paying for pretty videos, you are paying to compress the learning curve. This scenario is for founders who are not clueless. They know roughly what success looks like, but they don't want to spend a year stumbling their way to their first winner. If that's you and you want to go from zero signal to we know what works as fast as humanly possible, agency beats in-house every time. Scenario number 2, the lean and mean operator. Some of you, and I respect this a lot, you don't want to run a creative department. You want to stay lean, profitable, and light on overhead. In this case, every full-time hire, it's not just a cost. It's a long-term commitment, management, emotional load, one more person you need to lead. An agency turns that into a switch. You flip it on when you need capacity. You flip it off when you don't. You are paying a premium, yes, but you are converting a management headache into a single line item on your P&L. If you're the type of founder who likes a very small core team and a lot of external horsepower, and you would rather pay more in fees than grow headcount, this is exactly where an agency makes a lot of sense. Scenario number 3, protecting the core. This is for brands that already have an in-house team that is working. They are keeping the main offers and the main audience profitable. Now, you want to open up a new demographic, test UGC, try a completely different angle, or launch a risky offer that might flop. If you give all of that to your in-house team, you split their focus. You turn their week into chaos. Half a week is protecting what works, and the other half is chasing experiments. Both suffer. So instead, you hire an agency to be the sandbox. Your internal team owns the core. They keep the main machine running. The agency owns exploration. We're responsible for playing in the dirt, finding new angles, new hooks, new segments. If something we test becomes a new hit, your core team can then absorb it into their main system. Whenever you feel that we should be testing more but my team is already maxed out, that is a clear signal for scenario 3. Scenario number 4, the tunnel vision cure. Every in-house team eventually gets too close to the brand. They know what the founder likes, they know what usually works, they know what got yelled at last time. So slowly, without noticing it, they stop taking real risks. You start seeing the same structure, the same angle, the same talent over and over again. Performance slowly decays and nobody really knows why. This is where you bring an agency in as a challenger. Our job is not just to add more volume. Our job is to come in with fresh eyes, question assumptions, and propose angles your team would never put forward in a meeting because they feel too out there. When one of those spicy angles hits, 2 things happen. Number 1, you get a new winner in the account. Number 2, your in-house team wakes up because now they see the bar from the outside. If you feel like everything looks the same, the brand feels safe but stale, and nobody internally is pushing the envelope, scenario 4 is why an agency exists. Scenario number 5, the volume play. This is for the heavy hitters. I am not talking about 50K a month. I'm talking about 25K a day plus in ad spend. At this level, ad fatigue is your main enemy. You burn through creatives faster than most brands can even produce them. You don't just need good ideas, you need a manufacturing plant. 50, 100 variations a week every week just to stay ahead of fatigue. Different hooks, formats, length, crops, platforms. If you try to do this with one internal team, they become the bottleneck. They spend all their time just trying to keep up, not thinking strategically. This is where you hire an agency to feed the beast. You keep a small, very strong internal team that understands the brand and owns strategy, but you plug an external production engine into them that can handle the volume and the iteration speed you need at a whale level. Now, one more thing I noticed most smaller e-commerce owners get completely wrong. They see it as a choice. Either I work with agencies or I build my own in-house team. That is just not how this game works at higher levels. Most of our best clients, especially the ones spending the most, do both. They have an in-house team that owns the core and the brand, and then they have multiple agencies feeding them ideas and creatives from the outside. One agency might handle UGC, another might handle specific markets, another might be there just for testing new angles. If in your head is still agency or in-house, that tells me 2 things. You are probably not spending a lot yet, and you are not seeing how big your brands actually operate. If you want to understand what the game looks like when you're spending serious money, start thinking in-house plus the right agencies, not agency versus in-house. So to wrap up, that is the list. If you see yourself in those scenarios or you pass the one-day rule, hiring an agency like 99 Ads makes sense. The math works and the context fits. But if you're sitting there spending $10,000 to $30,000 a month, you want to build a long-term asset, and you don't fit any of those 5 scenarios, then my honest advice is simple. Do not hire an agency for full done for you. Build your own team. That is what you need. And if you don't know how to build a team, how to hire, how to train, how to install the systems, that is exactly where you should invest your money. And this is what our consulting offer is for. If you want to plug into our SOPs, our frameworks, our internal processes, instead of trying to reinvent everything from scratch, then head over to 99ads.com/demo and book a call with us. On that call, we will audit your account, show you your current bottleneck, and based on that, we will walk you through how to get past it and build an in-house creative system that gives you as many winning ads as possible, as consistently as possible. So once again, if you want to get help building that system instead of gambling on the next agency, go to 99ads.com/demo, book a call, and we will show you what this looks like inside your brand. I'll see you there. Cheers.